Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our first meeting to be undertaken at this building. So much work has been done. For those that don't know, I'm Dave Ryan, the Chairperson of the meeting. We've got Gary Gottlieb, Terry Walker, Neil Evans, and Mark. Sorry, that's their name. As our members. So thank you very much for attending our meeting today. Could I have a mover and a second please for the attendance and apologies?
Well, there's an apology for Dennis Freeman.
Sorry?
Apology for Dennis Freeman.
Thank you. Can we have a mover and a second before we do it?
Have a move.
Thank you. So, Mark, Dennis is the only apology that we've got, so that's fine. Thank you. Next will be the public forum, and can we have a mover and seconder for those people who will speak today?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. So we have 4 speakers today. John Ryan is the first speaker. John. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to Margaret next, please. Good morning, Margaret. Take a seat. Welcome.
It's my pleasure to speak on behalf of the Community Incorporated. I just wanted to share with you how to take 10 minutes, 5 minutes, please.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, thank you. So I stand because we have the community behind us here. I think this is the first time the community board held here meeting here, and we're delighted to be here. And for those that were here recently, in the last few years, to meet with meeting, we've seen that the board has been transformed. And huge confidence for the support of the community that really fought for this space. I've had a huge pleasure to be part of this committee. It is an extraordinary committee, and I can say that with great credibility, because for the last 27 years I have been advising the building of domestic charities throughout New Zealand. I come from a commercial law background, but also a charity law background, and I have never been on a committee such as this. The whole committee, the hall itself has over 100 members. We have a Facebook page with over 260 members. We also run a community notice board to let people know what's going on. This committee has done extraordinary things. We've brought in over $150,000, which has helped transform this hall. We've also entered into a deed lease for this building. So it's actually been a year since we've signed the deed lease for this document, this building. We have, at last week, we had the most incredible, beautiful celebration here. We had 101 people RSVP, and the community fed those people, including probably another 200 people who couldn't come to the event, packaged up food that was all provided by the community. So this is an incredible place and an incredible celebration. But as I said, my role has been with TCDC liaison. That's been my role, and I have worked with quite a number of people, one of which is Ivy here, who has supported us. But I have to tell you, it hasn't been easy. We have negotiated this lease, which we are really grateful for. That was tough work, but we got there, we got it across the line, and that was witnessed by 2 of our members here. And we're really proud of that, and that provides that the council will maintain the lease, maintain the building, and keep it safe and fit for purpose. We're a committee that wants to abide by rules, we want to do the right things. We have been asking, what are the rules? How does it work? How many people can we have here, for example? I think it was a surprise to all to realise that the board had been dropped and there wasn't a building warrant fitness for this hall, which means that we can actually legally only have 50 people in this hall. Now that was a surprise to everyone. We have had people making bookings wanting to have more than 50 people here. And just yesterday night, we had 80th birthday, where people had to be outside. People couldn't come from afar to stay and spend money in the community because we were restricted to 50. Now this is crazy because we have, as you all know, after the bush here, this is very significant ecological significance that people have fought hard to protect. It is very difficult to build buildings for a capacity such as this. In the region, Whangamatā regional plan, also the area is an outstanding natural feature. So it's very difficult to replicate a building like this and very expensive. For a very small cost, we can get a building warrant fitness. Something that is in terms of this lease, we have been liaising with TCTC, and I have to tell you, we're really disappointed. Just yesterday, despite promises, emails, I'm not aware for goodness sake, I take photos, I email, we're all volunteers, but we had promised that this would be sorted. Just yesterday, when our litigation followed this up, we found out that the whole property team said, no, it's not their responsibility, the community have to drive it, so we have to come to you, present a business case for discretionary funding to get the work done, which is really quite minimal. You know, it's lighting, it's signing, signage on doors, and we're just frustrated, I can tell you that. We've got to go back to our members for our AGM of over 100 people, which we can't hold in the hall because we can only do 50. We have to tell people that have got bookings over the busiest time. We've got a community that are really worried about fire. This is meant to be a safe place, and it is a safe place. But I do have to tell you our story, because I'm coming to the end of my term. We get elected just like you do. And if I don't get voted on again, I need this information to be shared. I will be standing again. We have an amazing strong committee. But we're so successful now that we will have quite a few people standing. So, in conclusion, I think we would have it a little bit, but I'll put some fresh lunch from my garden because I'd like some fresh air on this committee board to see some sense. Please, honour the obligations of your list. They're really clear about us having a safe building. They're really clear that it's your obligation to do this one fitness. Yes, once it's done, we will have to pay for the ongoing annual checks, and we want it. We want our community to be safe. You want your community safe. You want people in this area to use this building for what it was built by the community to do. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Just got a question.
Sure.
Thank you for your time and the work you put into getting this building to where you like. It's the first we've heard about this whole discussion, and obviously it's a staff issue, and you've raised it. Are they working with you collectively on this, or how's that going?
So there's been a change in staff, so I think that's to be fair to staff, that some of them are doing the best that they can, so there's been I drove down, I'm not resident here, I've been coming here for 50 years, and I don't live here permanently. I drove down for a meeting, and 3 people came, and I presented our case to them. I wrote up the notes, I then contacted them again, because I didn't hear them today, and yeah, it's not going well. I just got the email from them yesterday to say no, it's up to the community to lead this, that there is no formal agreement, despite the fact that I have a number of people, we have a number of emails, and despite the fact that I read quite clearly the lease and I understand the law. So, no, it's not going well.
Can I just also clarify, is there financial funding to do this? Is what kind of money you expected to find?
So when we so there's 25 engineer reports, and I think we're talking about $6,000. So it's not a massive amount of money. When you think about the cadence that we have to get, but to be honest, the frustration for myself, and I don't know if for others, but for the community, it's frustrating. So already we've invested huge money in maintaining the school. $150,000 we've got from funders, and we've done that on the basis that the promises that were made that this would be a hall for more than 50 people. So we're just hugely embarrassed by this.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. Any other questions?
Margaret, does the lease require a building warrant of fitness, or is that just an assumption?
No, the lease doesn't, it's the Building Act that requires building warrant for this. So, and I mean, if you've all got copies there, you're all contributing staff about copies of the lease. The lease quite categorically says that the buildings will be kept and staffed in state condition. And it also clearly says what the responsibilities are that the council will pay for, if we give you the word in. So we pay for the costs of annual checks for the building workers, but we're extended the costs of upgrading or other work to make the building comply with the Building Act. So this hall has always been intended to have, as many as can be safely had. And you can see we have functions here a week, and you can easily have many people here, really over 50. I think, to be honest, the problem that has been which budget that it comes from. There's been an argument that they are increasing the capacity of the hall. But in fact, they're not increasing the capacity, they're just putting things right. The hall was right. It wasn't right fitness for the school. We now know there needs to be, and that needs to be right.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Ross Stewart is our next speaker this morning.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Ross Stewart. I'm the secretary of the Whangamatā Red Club and Sure Hills at present. The reason I'm fronting this is because my background is IT. We're talking about an IT solution for a physical problem. The physical problem is that I'm probably, Cheryl probably is younger than me, but I think there are about 3 less than me, and I'm 77. Our club has an aging group, up to 88, I think, is the oldest, and mobility scooters and frames are common. But we all suffer from dexterity problems. I mean, I've got osteoarthritis, it's not bad, most of the others have not. Bridge is a very mentally stimulating game, it's socially involving, and it's great for anti-aging. So we are trying to keep our members well aware of how things go. When we play bridge, we play with cards and we use things called boards. And they're pre-shuffled in 4 hands so we can all play on the 4. The issue is, when we finish an evening, we then have to shuffle the cards. That's called overhand shuffles. Overhand shuffles typically do not randomise the cards, and so you end up with, unfortunately, called stacked decks. And you don't want that anymore. You want a fair game. You can riffle the cards, and it's slightly better, 7 times riffling than randomised. The best of all is 52 big up on the ground. We can't do that, we can't get down. I've been looking around how we can solve this problem because the oldies don't like very versatile, do very well with cards everywhere. But there is a machine, and we circulate the photo of the machine. It links to the software in our own computers. Ask the mate to do it. The software then says what's it and on, randomise, push the button, downloads on the machine, takes a minute, sort reads them off and puts them in 4 different pockets. Then the board, it's put in the machine, and the machine gets cards in the 4 pockets. All done, we go on. It also, the software also records the scores, what sort of board it is, what sort of results it can do, and then we can have a viewing or extension. We can also use this for training purposes. We're hoping to get to the schools and start to do this thing in the schools. That's a fair way down the track. We need to get our own members happier and coming along. I mean, you guys will probably all know that, but nevertheless, that's what we're trying to do. So we're looking for, I'll come back on stage. We run events, we budget for our events, we make sure our events run at a great end. We don't come to anybody asking for losses. We don't ask for support for our ongoing operation costs. And we are very low cost, $20 a year for a membership fee and $2 a day. So it's a very acceptable level for all of our community. But we need $8,500 to pay for this insurance. It's a one-off. We ask nothing other than that. That's all we need your support for that. Anything like that? If you like, very much.
Thank you. Any questions?
Just one quick clarification, and thank you, Ross. How big is the club, the membership?
We're currently 42 members, probably about 25 live locally, 30 live locally. It's not increasing. We need to advertise, and we're going to use some of our accumulated funds to a small education. But the funds are limited, and we don't have the funds for this. We're not like the golf clubs and the bowling clubs. I mean, the bowling club, we had an over 75 tournament last week. We had trouble running an under 75 tournament. I mean, that's the way it is. Just like some help, please. We've never come to the council or the community before. We'd like to help them.
Have you done anything in relation to obtaining donations or done anything towards the 8,000?
Not as yet, no. We thought we would ask the board, the community, the board, for assistance with this, and we did notice that there was some excuses here. So we thought we would ask. We've been 44 years without anything. We could go further, just we're looking ahead to see how we help out all.
Thank you very much. Any further questions? Right, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
God bless them. God bless them.
Good morning. Rob Watson here at Whangamatā, providing a background really to the community board as to where we are with the refurbishment. It's a little bit why we're in now. The report I've given you this morning is a summary of where we were when we started this process back in April, right through to where we are right now. Background, obviously, where we got the first grant, the TCDC grant of 500,000 back in 1922. The plans that we had to build on that success of those heat pumps and the upgrade that we did to get the pool underway. A little bit of integration of that, which was a swimming pool, therapeutic pool that we had planned. And then really into the refurbishment program, which began April the 3rd when it was playing. We have obviously the building projects and things never quite as planned. We had a bit of delay in our scaffolding and wrap up in place. We finally got that up in April. Then the main thing was we got the pool emptied and did some inspections and we found some of the remedial work that had to be done. And that was an additional cost that we incurred. As we went through that process, we then decided that the plaster option that we were going to replace with the back onto the pool wasn't really the right option. So we we did some investigation, we decided to go back to put the tiles back onto the mid wall of the spillway. That obviously created an overrun of costs, and on May the 14th, the request was made to CCDC and Lowry for support to the community swimming pool for a shortfall of $46,275. And we've been advised that that's in a process, and there are possibly some retained earnings that we can possibly have some benefit of. When we got the tiles underway, we found out that some of the construction of the pool was very minor, but quite significant when you talk about tiling. And so we had to do some remedial work to the mid-wall and the spillway walls. And that also extra time, extra money. There were additional costs for new plastic grating that we had to put in, additional tiling that we had to put in to support the plastic grating on the spillway. That's all been done. The tiles were finished, completed, grouted on the 5th of August. So it was a long process. During that time, we discovered that the scaffolding wrap had got some leaks, and we had a few issues with the scaffolding company getting them back and getting it fixed. And in the end, we had a meeting, 12th of August, and we pointed out it had to be watertight before we could start painting. So the pool is ready to paint. The paint is going to start painting tomorrow morning. But we had to get the scaffolders back to put a new roof back on the existing wrap. That held us up for probably 2 weeks while we got that negotiated. And finally finished that on the 2nd of September. So right now, the position that we're in is the painting contract will start tomorrow. The proposed time frame is to wash down the surfaces, put the expansion joints back in, and then put on 3 coats of paint. All of that is dependent on weather conditions, temperature, and moisture content within the concrete, which we're pretty optimistic we'll get away with it tomorrow. The paint cure obviously takes about a week to dry. And we're now talking, what, this is the 10th of September, and so these weeks are all starting to increase. We then have to get the black lines put onto the pool, and then, of course, we have to deconstruct the scaffolding. And to do that, we have to put a crash deck across the entire pool. And the idea of that is so that when we take the scaffolding and wrap down, there is nothing that falls onto the pool that can damage the new paint. And this is something we've been discussing with this scaffolding company now for about 6 weeks, some methodology to try and get that underway. They believe they can do it. It takes 2 or 3 days to put that crash deck in. And then once they start dismantling the scaffold, I think it could be 7 working days. So you can start to see where we're coming from in getting an opening date that we can make public. And we're not really prepared to do that because we have talked about it being Labour weekend, but we might not make that. Then, of course, once the pool's cleared, we've got to get it filled, we've got to get the temperature up, and more importantly, we've got to get the chemical balance right. And that takes, according to the pool manager, takes about a week. So this is just a summary for you guys. There's a lot more information in there. I'm happy to answer questions later if that's what you need on the budget sheet that I've prepared. This one I've prepared it, or I've done it now. This gives you a situation financially where the pool is now. And it's 3 main lines halfway down, the estimated additional funding required. The estimate of the cost of the project is $439,353. We've paid to date $332,113. Sorry. And the balance due that we've got payments to make is $108,028. That's if we get to the end of the project, with all the work that's listed in there to be done. Our bank balance is about 142. We've added in there the proposed grant that we fund to TCD through the 46275. And that gives us, the other thing is we've taken out of that, we haven't included the operating grant that we get from the community board. So that's not included in any of this funding. So when you come through to the very bottom line, there's still a further shortfall of $18,000. So we're just not quite sure how we're going to deal with that. We're fairly confident we can manage it, but we're just making that point that there's nearly another $20,000 in there that we need to find to get this project completely finished. So just in summary, The management committee is really aware of the community concerns regarding the timing of the reopening and the financial overruns of the pool. And I've had several conversations with people wanting to know what's going on with the pool, trying to have a look and when it will be open. Some people have told me it's closed forever and so on. But we're committed to getting the pool open as soon as we can. We face several challenges. As I just said, our immediate challenge is to complete the work and get the pool open as soon as possible. Finance, obviously, we await the decision from TCDC regarding the change earnings in October. Last week, we made an application to Trust Waikato for funding. It's about $30,000 we've asked them for to help us get through. Yep. Staffing, three sentences. Staffing is an issue for us. Protracted closure, we've got to retrain staff. We've got to get the swimming community back into engagement with the pool again, all of the clubs and the associations, so we can get them underway. Last year, we had 30,000 swimming aquatic activities go through the pool. We've got to get that back next year. Finally, as the fact the community board, particularly our Eileen TCDC staff for the support of swimming. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Any questions for
Yeah, question, Rob. First of all, thank you very much for the work going on there. It's a big project, wonderful to keep all the ground. You're doing a great job. Have you managed to do any other work other than painting the pool around it during this time?
Yeah, part of the what's the pool is drained, we still have a whole lot of things that need to be done. For example, the pool was leaking, but it was leaking through the outside. So the rain was in the depths was coming through the outside and it was seeping through the old expansion joints that was coming in. So that had to be fixed. That was 13 grand. The contact people, the paint suppliers came in and inspected the pool surface, and structurally it's very, very good. But the surface that we're going to paint needs some remedial work, so we have to coat that with a product called RNP, and that costs another 6 grand. So all of these little things that we've picked up are just added to the cost. It's the timing thing, that went over really 100%, and it was just, you just couldn't pick that the pool, when you looked at it, it was perfect. When you're laying tiles, it has to be done straight. And so we got caught.
And you've done some of the sheds up as well as the changing sheds?
Changing sheds have been refurbished, we've upgraded the new rivals, we're in the process of putting in 3 new doors. One of them is an emergency exit door which goes into the rugby ground in the school. We're reconcreting the front of the entrance. We've got financial support from the member of the public who's done that for us. There's a lot happening.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Questions for Rob? All in favour of moving this item, say aye. Opposed? Any items not on the agenda to be discussed? A conflict of interest. Anybody have any conflicts of interest that have to do with children? Thank you. Can I ask for a move and seconder in relation to the minutes of the previous meeting?
Happy to move.
Thank you.
Have some more discussion on
Sure.
that. In that last meeting, I raised an issue about Whangamatā product. That didn't make it into the minutes, but it is on the agenda for later on today. I just wondered what does something have to do to get into that? Or is it just, I don't know.
Is this?
Want to share. Basically, the Saturday exam is shooting maybe the can you give it to people?
For a motion.
Okay. Any further discussion on stormwater project? Group was receiving, but I don't know if it's second. Yeah, definitely. You wish to speak?
With the chair, I'll be giving you an update on with the stormwater project as part of the capital works.
Thank you. Still need to move from the secondary relationship.
I agree, and I think that's it.
Thank you. All in favour, say aye. So the next one, we require a move from secondary on is the proposed name change for 409 Drive. Move from second. Move by. Anyway, move and second it for the.
Who's moving? Okay.
I'll second it.
Thank
Katie,
Okay.
Katie. Good morning, Katie. Can you hear us all right?
Good morning. Yes, I can.
What would you like to tell us in relation to this proposal? I see that there is two options that have been given to the board to look at. Have you got anything further that you wish to mention?
Yeah, through the chair, I just asked that you receive the report as read. But yeah, I guess in terms of the two road names, our recommendation from a staff level is the second road name, because we believe that it's better connected to the area, and that's the road name that has been consulted with the iwi. So we think it's the most appropriate road name to go with. That's probably all that I'd probably add. And I guess just in general, the road naming policy, while it doesn't have specific criteria for private roads, we consider that the second road name is more in line with the objective of the policy, because they've undertaken that formal consultation with iwi. And the policy also actively encourages the use of a Māori road name as well. So that's why we have recommended the second option to be the better option in terms of the road name.
Thank you, Katie. Discussion, please. No.
I have a question to why are we considering what is really just a name for private access? Why does it come to the council? What does it come to the community for? If you put it just right over the three places on, you can put a name down at the bottom for every one.
I think, Katie, do you want to answer that?
I'm struggling to hear, sorry, the question. It's kind of breaking up when I'm receiving it, so I didn't hear it very clearly. Are you able to repeat it to me, the question?
Well, why does it even need to come to the community board or council? Why can't the private landowner call the access way, whatever they want to call it?
It's a requirement of Land Information New Zealand that private ways where they serve up to 6 lots are named, and then council has a road naming policy which includes naming of these private ways that has to go through this process where it comes a recommendations made to the community board to make that decision in terms of the appropriate names.
I can respect that, Katie, but I do wonder why, if the person who's putting all that money in to do something has got a preference, why that preference is not.
Oh, sorry, yeah. So I guess they have offered the two road names, so they are their preferences, and the first and the second. So we're able to make a recommendation on either of the names. We have communicated back to the applicant that our recommendation is for the second choice, and we didn't get a response back from them in terms of that. And I appreciate that, that it's up to the board to make the final decision on which road name is more appropriate.
Thank you. Terry?
Yeah, Kate, I'm struggling with this a little bit as well. Still Tutu Car Rise, and the other side, across the way, there's Tutu. There's another street named after that. I just thought they were pretty close to being similar.
Mm-hmm.
Guys proposed Horizon Views Way, which is quite a way different. Did iwi look at that discussion as well? That was the preferred option for them, and when you spoke to iwi, we just put the one proposal.
Yeah, it's up to the applicant to undertake the consultation with the iwi, and it's my understanding that they just consulted on the second name. We have checked with Land Information New Zealand because we also thought the same thing, where they were quite similar with the Te Tutu Road that's already currently there, and they've confirmed that they think there is an element of difference in the road name itself to provide that sufficient differentiation between the two roads. So they've confirmed to us that it's appropriate if you were to go with the second choice.
So just having deliberately around that, obviously the person hasn't responded to the option to take the Tutu Par rise. Is that right? They haven't come back. Did you say that?
What I said was that we've let the applicant know in our recommendation which road name that we've recommended to the board. So, and they haven't replied back to us after we let them know that we've recommended the second choice as part of our recommendation.
Is it your recommendation that we're supporting, or are you asking us to make an option choice here?
So the report's to you with our recommendation. It's with you to now make a choice in terms of if you accept our recommendation or if you go with the other option, which is the the first road name.
Right.
Basically, we've got a situation here where it looks like it's us that has to decide on it. There was advantages and disadvantages that you've seen over the end for them. So I think probably the only way that we can do it is to ask members what their preference is and go from there.
First option.
I'll go the first option. I'll follow the community.
And I would go with the first two. So I would agree with that. And I would suggest that we go with the horizon view ways.
Motion to.
So I put a motion forward that the naming of the private access road lines right on the path, good naming from the community, horizon views. All in favour? Stephen? All in favour? Aye. Against? Carried. Thank you for that. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
The provisions of the zebra crossing at Martin Road is going to. Ed, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very well, thank you. I trust you're all equally as well.
Thank you. Yes. Ed, there's been a bit of a discussion in relation to the actual location of this zebra crossing. I see that further down in the report it says that the matter is now closed. There was concern about how close it was to the intersection for vehicles that are travelling around Baker Road to turn left onto Martin for that. And we appreciate the fact that this pedestrian crossing was basically brought for a member of the public that has severe impaired sight to make it easier for him. But there is concern about how close it is to that intersection. Can you please speak to that?
Yes, I can through the chair. The location of the zebra crossing that we've got in the report, and I must apologise that something appears to have gone wrong with the scale of the plan. That is in accordance with the new guidelines that the Transport Agency have been promoting. So in the past, the zebra crossing would not have been allowed at this location. It would have been a central block zebra crossing, and that's common practice throughout all of New Zealand. But in our research on this matter, we located the fact that NZTA have published guidelines that now allow for a zebra crossing to be located this close to a junction. Basically, Anything within 5 to 6 meters of the actual, what would be the stop line of the junction, if there was one, is now acceptable. I've checked the visibility at the location. Obviously, along Martin Road, visibility to that zebra crossing is unobstructed. There's no issues with parked vehicles and the like. As you're exiting from the side roads, provided you're not traveling around the side roads at excessive speed, the visibility is still good enough to allow the zebra crossing to be there. We'd be talking about design speeds of 50 kilometers an hour, which would be the urban speed limit in this area, and it does match with those visibility requirements.
Would there be any consideration, if that's your recommendation, to put a warning sign in Nathan Road advising people of pedestrian crossing?
I would have no problem at all in adding that to the works.
Any comment?
I'd have to do it first. Under the options and test, under the disadvantages, they're writing a guideline at risk should the guideline be needed. Just wondering what is meant by that statement. What is the risk?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up very badly there. Could you repeat that?
So in the options and assessment, under the first option, it lists one of the disadvantages is that should you adopt the guideline, then the risk associated with that. What do you mean by that?
Right. The situation with the guideline is that it is purely a guideline at this time. It's been published by NZTA as a national document, but they cannot approve its use nationally until it receives ministerial approval. So there is a possibility that before ministerial approval is granted, the NZTA may change the guideline. So we are in a situation where we have a document that we are adopting at risk. That's the best way of describing it. But having spoken to the people that have developed it, and recognizing the fact that this is now being used across the country, the risk of any changes are very low.
Understand, thank you.
Can I ask a question here? If I got this correct, is this the application of one person? Just one person, correct?
This is one person has been directly involved. We recognise that location is a pedestrian desire line. People do use that crossing point, and they have done historically. So the actual provision of a zebra crossing, as I said in the report, if we had been aware of this guideline in the past, this would have been our recommendation. The guideline has come in since then, and this is our opportunity, if you like, to bring the crossing into line with best practice as it's seen at this moment.
My question was this a request from one person?
The request from the single person was for the creation of a zebra crossing at this location.
Thank you. That's what I asked. What consultation has there been with the public on this?
There has been no consultation with the general public at the moment. There is no actual requirement for consultation on this.
Yeah, thank you, Ed. Yeah, just a little bit of history around this. I was one of the pushers to try and get this sorted out because the central island kept getting backed into by people in the electrical JRS building, and several times over the time, smashed back through the centre with kind of like a concrete sign in the middle of the road. So we asked them to get moved and move the crossing down towards, halfway down towards Casement, between Casement and Aiken, so he could cross there and go either way to the supermarket. I think then what happened was you came up with this traffic calming idea and keeping the crossing roughly where it is now, which we have to accept. Putting a crossing lines on it means that once somebody's onto that crossing, everybody has to stop. Currently, that people have to come to that crossing and get to there, make sure it's clear before they cross. So I just worry that when you put those lines on the road and people turning left out of Aiken Road into the Mark Road, then they're looking right and moving left, somebody will be right in front of them. Are you happy that that won't cause any risk or safety issue?
Again, I'm sorry, you were breaking up quite a lot, but I think I got the gist of it. You're concerned about the risk of a driver turning left out of Aiken Road towards the crossing, looking right, and then proceeding into the crossing while they're still looking right. If that's the
because they come out of that commercial area, lots
yes,
of trailers and things like that. And once you put the crosses on the road, there's a responsibility for drivers to stop. But there's no crosses on the road, and people will then watch to make sure it's clear before they cross. Otherwise, people just launch straight out of the road, knowing that big cars have to stop when they're on a crossing.
that is correct. There is that risk, but the same risk occurs with the current location of the crossing. If a pedestrian does start to cross the road at that location, a driver is actually still bound to try and stop or at least avoid that pedestrian. What the zebra crossing does is formalise that and makes it recognisable to the drivers.
It'd be an advantage to change the give way sign to a stop sign coming out of Aiken.
That would also be an advantage and could be incorporated into the design if needed, if requested.
I think it's a commercial area. There's a lot of activity around there. I think if you start putting stop signs, you're going to have a lot of traffic congestion. And this just adds to it. I just really worry about those lines on the road, making it compulsory for people to stop. When if people have to make the discussion and make the move across the road, they will make sure it's clear before they cross, rather than just bowling straight out there. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
To address Terry's concern, if the crossing was moved, say 50 metres down the road, what would be any disadvantage in that approach? That way, you're turning traffic aren't immediately going to have to stop at a pedestrian.
Through the chair, if the crossing was moved to what would effectively be a central block location, that would comply with current standards, so there's no issues with standards there. What the issue there is that the actual crossing would not be on the pedestrian desire line. So we can't guarantee that it would actually be useful to pedestrians. What we have noticed during our research into this is that the central island crossing point that existed previously was used. That is where people choose to cross the road. Actually moving the formal crossing point down the road would require us to try and re-educate, I think is the best description, re-educate the people that use that area as to where the safe crossing point is. And that could well be a long and difficult process.
Another question there, looking at where that crossing is, that's just a little closer to the intersection than what that calming bit. And that's from my observation, that building now is now vacant. If the calming bit was to go back in, that seemed to me a pretty logical way of dealing with it.
Again, I'm sorry, you were breaking up quite a lot there. But from what I gathered, you were commenting about the actual vehicle accesses to the industrial commercial business. The actual location of the crossing could be moved slightly away from the vehicle accesses, but only by about a metre. Where we've got the crossing point as it is now with the build outs would probably have to be the limitation of where that crossing could be moved to.
So the question is, if we left it as it currently is, tested it for a month or so, would that be suitable to just see if the public can look out for cars before they cross and take some care and just see how effective it is before we put anything like the strips across the road?
Through the chair, the crossing point that we've got there at the moment has been in position for, I believe, the best part of a year. What we're trying to do is to address an issue that's been highlighted to us by a member of the public that uses that crossing point.
Yeah, but he's blind, so he needs some assistance to do it anyway, doesn't he?
Through the chair, if a zebra crossing is provided, that actually gives him priority over road traffic. So that actually facilitates him and other blind people crossing the road at this location.
I think it's actually not too close, so just one person. I mean, there are a lot of other people who take advantage of crossing, and I, for one, fully support crossing going in. There's public access down the footpath and finish one footpath on one side of the road going down. Road there to cross over there. There's a lot of people that I think we're providing safety for a wider number, a greater number of people in the community than just one person. So I support it.
I support where it is. Go with it.
So I think that we're getting to a stage where
We're going on here, no issue.
but there was a crossing here, pull that down, I mean, there was a crossing point, right, there was a crossing point, there's a refuge and refuge, middle of the road, we cross to, cross. And we seem to be putting a lot of emphasis on giving rights of way to drivers of vehicles, rather than looking after the pedestrians, people who have any concern becoming a community that is finding it lessening the ability of pedestrians.
Going into the commercial area, right?
Yes, but it is a commercial area, but it's the supermarket of the town, America. And we need to want to have people who drive vehicles to take some responsibility as well, looking after our pedestrians on the roadway.
Exactly. And I think the crossing there is working very well because it's got two areas you can come onto.
No, it's just
a calming strip.
It's just a painted strip now. Before it used to be a
It's not on the road, on the each side of the road.
No, it's not. That is the box.
Yeah.
I move we support option one.
You're not prepared to go back to that refuge calming act that used to be just slightly along where people use their own discretion to cross the road. But you can put those pipes back in a bit more securely, and that so that don't think they're backing out now and they might work out the drive.
I'd like to leave it currently as it is in Bonner.
Is it option three?
Right?
Is it option three?
Option three. Option one.
So there's two recommendations put on it. We've got to think.
I see.
First one, okay.
No, and still.
Sorry. No. The first recommendation is receive the provisions of the zebra crossing Martin Road, Whangamatā, recorded date of the 19th of March. Support the installation of a zebra crossing at the junction of Martin Road and Lincoln Road subject to the Thames Commonwealth District Council adopting a revised draft guidance. Yeah, okay, 2 comes in over the top of that. Provided by the New Zealand Transport Agency, network crossing, public cocaine, so that is option 1. All in favour of that?
Aye.
Against? 2 against, and I will support option 4. With the condition that, Ed, if you wouldn't mind of putting a advisory sign in Aiken Road advising of the pedestrian crossing.
Through the chair, I'll be glad to do that.
Thanks very much. Thank you, Ed, for your time on that. Just before we go any further, we just want to take a break for a moment to adjust the speaker system back to the people at home.
These swimming pool some money. And so what I'm saying now, it would seem that would have to come out of the special.
So retained earnings.
So 46,000 that the board have already supported, you supported that to come out of retained earnings. So that report will come to you in October, once the final retained earnings amount is known.
Yeah, right. But we don't need to allocate that out of this. Yeah. 73,000 at the bottom. Yeah. Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you.
So we're going to discuss these one by one.
So the first one, Ocean Sports Club, because the 15,000 towards the costs of running the 3 tournaments that they fishing tournaments, and Wimpy Girls Classic and the kids fishing at the pool.
Yeah, so I want to comment on this. So this is the club under question. But these run these tournaments, they don't have to run these tournaments for kids. They're doing this out of their own heart, and, for the benefit of the area. So I support some support to these to make these things happen. So $1,000 on the there we go. They need to show some support, otherwise these events won't happen.
Any comment on that?
I agree part of what you're saying here, but I also thought there were some funds for the general beer as well.
This is just 2 of those kids fishing in the
They are running it.
They stopped at another one thing, but that's changing.
They are
They asked for micro wine draft beer and so forth.
Yes, that wasn't the they were also people.
Is this part of it?
Oh, right, sorry, yes. Fraction, yeah.
With that out of there. Right. Education, market.
I'm happy to support some funding towards the health sector, but I think the others are initial questions of the club, maybe decide on what's wrong.
Kids.
I think it needs to be clear this was
Any more discussion on it?
I'm just trying to work out what's the costing for the kids then. Yeah, it's just a global thing.
Yeah.
It's not really that. I just think the 4th. Yeah,
Who's the events are going to run?
you don't actually know what it's going to cost for the kids, but
what we probably think. It's fishing.
Oh, they have prize. Yeah, they have prize. They didn't. Age both. The discussion is around $1,000. Okay, so $1,000. The next one is Summer Festival. Just coming over at, in this year.
Only 2 days, is that right?
Yeah. And it's sort of higher as the team. They increased it from 1 to 2, and now they're going to 3 others in the area. And so they're asking for 3,823 the higher of that.
It's been popular.
Go hard. 50%.
$1,400.
Yes.
Any further on that?
I think it's a good cause.
2,000? Who's agree with that?
I'll support.
Yes.
So
Okay,
2,000?
$2,000. We just got to remember that there's a lot of period left, and if we use that money now, there's no more coming. To come to you.
I support the community library.
Yeah. 747 for associated with the account charges. That was something we started a few years ago, so no problem with that.
No.
And the next one is the arts collective.
Again, support that.
And the accounting charges. And then enterprise Whangamatā the same.
Yeah.
Funding for their books. Agreed. The Whangamatā Bridge Code, we had discussions this morning in relation to the funding for the $8,000 comment.
Yeah, I would suggest that, unfortunately, with such a small club, it wouldn't really have the total community support. So I would suggest that we do not contribute to that one.
I would suggest that while it is a small club, this is an issue that they have got that they're focused on, which is that they don't come to this for funding before. So I'd be prepared to give them $2,000 of the $8,000.
Thank you very much.
2,000 is what I'd be prepared to do. They're a small club, obviously, but they're a growing club, and they've got an issue around these are the kind of clubs we want to keep going. That keeps the elderly and connected and doing things in the community and community wellbeing. So I'd support it.
Any more comment on that?
And then can you make my opposition?
Yeah. Sure.
I'll support it.
The Whangamatā Community Patrol, now, they, as you would have read in there, it's like 40 people, and they're looking for, hoping they be good police and other areas in relation to their vehicle being used for road closures, etc., to assist, particularly with the fact that the police are very thin on the ground at 90 minutes with the So the vehicle that they've got stay is not sufficient for some of the roads and that they go over that. So they're asking to replace that. But point out also that this guy's a replacement of the vehicle, they have to bring in the lights and siren and everything. So their request is $10,000.
Is there any funds available from central government for that?
No, the council gives 5,000 per year to pay for uniforms towards their petrol and that sort of thing. But no, there's nothing comes from the central government.
So how much are their funds to pay 5,000?
But it's the donations that they try to come up on the way. Only Marmot normally gives them like 500 years coming out because they also do only Marmot through as well as there, and they have been up in their patrol area. I know that they were talking about going to two or three in the north main nights now because police are short staffed and so consequently they support them with their. So it's just what you wish to have.
Well,
Well, I'd support for 14,000.
So, I mean, it's a benefit to the whole community, everyone in the community benefits from it.
Is this a second vehicle?
No, it's they're replacing the.
One you're going, I guess, is taken to
Correct, yes.
Yeah, well, they're a real community asset in a lot of ways, so I'd give it 5. Thinking about moving. It's a good point.
Eric,
I'd go with 10.
sorry,
I'd go with the 10.
10, I'll go with 10 as well. So,
Okay.
all in favour of the 10, say aye. Eric.
I mean, I think that the Christmas fair at Winston Park on the town real estate is a great event. But I just sort of noticed in their request that they give the proceeds to book an army club. And I was wondering what level proceeds of profit do they get and they're able to give away. So we're funding a fundraising event for something else.
Just a couple of K each year that's been quite successful. Yeah, so I'm a little bit in the line of looking at it should be for the event, use the event. Might get a little bit of top over, but I don't know how much it's contributed to that. So I'd give you $2,000.
Yeah, 2 seems good. The Whangamatā Rugby and Sports Club.
Again, another good community event. It just seems to be a lot around food. Catering.
Yeah. And let's go.
I don't know how they work it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do raise concerns here. There's a lot of in the budget, or a lot of money around catering, and that should be self-funding. Which should be in the request from us.
So I thought that was lost. 2,000.
Yeah, because it brings in a lot of people.
Yeah. $2 grand.
Okay, so this now changes with people. So the total allocated for this round of requests is 21,247, which leaves you a balance now of 51,800 in your discretionary fund.
It's up to on site.
Sorry?
Was the number last number?
51,805.
All in favour of the payments as described. Discussed, you say aye. Opposed? Carried.
It should be noted through the chair that we normally get 150% oversubscribed for this money, so it would be
Absolutely. And also, we've got function to do. I mean, emergency management. Can I have a movement and second for the discussion? We're going to take place. I'll move it. We'll check.
Awesome.
It's very important.
I didn't take up with the country.
Yeah, we'll just can I just through you, Chair, apologies from New Zealand Transport Agency. They're not been able to come around to the district this time, but they hope to, once they've finished explaining the National Land Transport Program, which came out last week. So what they've provided for you is quite a helpful list of the projects that are going to be attended to between now March 2025. So there's $21 million allocated in the recent pre-releases of the National Land Transport Program. You've got the indicative list here of where the projects are and what their indicative completion date is. We estimate that NZTA has probably invested around 170 million in the roading network on Coromandel Peninsula, and they're still going. So as we distance ourselves further away from the actual events, keep in mind that most of what is happening, particularly on State Highway 25, is still cleaning up and rebuilding and remediating from those two cyclones and storm. And just a similar picture is occurring on the local road network. And Ed and the team are looking at the program right through 2025 to address the local road slips and repairs. Most of that is happening well north of Whangamatā, particularly Colford Road, Tartan Road Glen. So that part of the network will be under constant repair, as is parts of the State Highway network right through summer and into autumn next year.
Yeah, question for Stephen. Yeah, thank you, Stephen, for the update. First of all, congratulations to NZTA and the team for the International Award for the Bridge. I think it was amazing to see that happen in London, so pretty impressive. The program for the 28 million, has they itemised out how the projects have happened? They're sort of listed what comes first.
Yep, so that on that table sheet, we're dropping that in front of every community board this week and next week.
Yep.
So that gives you the location, the type of work, and what the indicative completion date is. And they're trying to balance the number of sites that are open and being repaired and remediated with the need for movement of traffic, and not to be sitting at stop-go signs for too long as we approach summer.
Just with you again, it's really impressive when they did this 25A, was shutting the road and fixing that piece of road at that time. Is that going to be a consideration going forward to ask communities to shut down for a period, or still be a divided?
I think where you're going to see that play out is probably with the projects like the Heavy Bridge, that if they can get better access to the site over more hours per day, it will be done faster. So it's very much so being careful about stretching community tolerance for delays and having to go over the
Yes, sir. A question. As an example, there's some work being done between Whangamatā and Hekawai. There's two subsidences. How much would that cost to fix those two that they're doing here?
I couldn't tell you that
Oh,
top of my head. Right.
Pretty impressive that they're doing gabion baskets all the way up, back fillings. So it's pretty impressive what they're doing. It's really good resilience to it rather than just.
Can I just ask, of the work that is being done, when you go down on the rubbish down the left hand end, like actually on the time, there's a dangerous that has been on a number of occasions has been mentioned to NZTA. Have a look at it and consider that it was, and this I'm talking 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when I first put it to them, and they said that it was on the list that was going to be done. It's a wonder that we haven't had the side there. There have been crashes that have been attended. Fortunately, no one's gone. I'm aware of it's gone down into there. But it's in particular also logging trucks that come around here that wipe out the barriers, plastic barriers. Is that something that can be looked at, please? Because it is doing.
Yep, we'll check if it's still on our list.
We actually took photos there and gave it to David. David's moved on, so I don't know where it's gone. It's David Spears got the.
Yeah, he's going to be joining one of our neighbours
Yes.
very soon.
Mr. Chairman, we'll take the points reader. Is a question through the town report? Don't care if anyone has questions regarding the resilience project. So here at the end, let me have a question by him.
Yeah, through the chair. Yeah, yesterday, Gary, you did a pretty good presentation to Tyra Partner Report. I just wondered if Pam would give us a bit of an insight to the resilient packages that came to Whangamatā and the response groups that you're running around the Coromandel. Is that completed and running and all up and going?
Morning everyone. The community resilience project, the 36 kits have been delivered to more than 36 communities. I'll just give you an example. There's Whangamatā and Whangamatā, for instance, have one group, community response group. They received one kit, but they're actually 3 communities that actually get split up. All of these communities, we had consultation with them. They helped co-design their kits. It wasn't a matter of us going and saying, we want to give you this. We had a bit of an idea of everything, but it was really sitting down and talking about what were the lessons that they learned after all these events. Because we had really well established community response groups in place, so they worked well together as a group, but they never really had any communications that we so desperately need in emergency. An example of these kits that we've delivered, they're all a little bit different. It's not a kit that's going to start at the hotel, and it's not going to provide lots of hot water, hot showers, etc. There's power, reliable power, communications, first aid, maybe some emergency food, access to water, blankets, those kind of things. But, those were the 36 kits that have been delivered. At delivery of these kits, we didn't just hand it over to communities. We delivered community training, which came in the form of explaining to these community response groups what are the kits, how do they use it, the maintenance that goes around with the market, as well as showing them how to effectively open up the community. So that's really what we need. We need a community who have the ability to open up a centre when they feel the community and dealing with an emergency. They don't need direction from emergency management, so this kit it helps them to start that out without waiting for council to start. I'm now at the final phase of the project, which is building PDC civil defence centre caches in our 4 main centres. Those are the 4 centres that we open up a civil defence centre, which is a little bit different to a community defence centre. They're larger communities, obviously a little bit more population. They do need to have in the location. So these caches will have slightly bigger generators, a few more blankets, communications like Starlink, etc. That's just a quick snapshot of the project we're up to. And the next phase is building how do we look after these things? How do we keep our community response groups engaged, trained, valued? There's so much value in empowering our communities to help us during things. And yeah, we're doing all the wonderful things.
I understand that the one for Whangamatā is at the council area.
At the Lindsay Road.
And who has the access to that?
Currently, it's just us. Once the place, we will then share the location of the key or the access time to emergency services, the council staff. So this kit is not available first purpose is to serve the community's conflict. Community's conflict's main purpose is to look after the welfare of people. They don't step in line with stepping over first responders. If a kit is not in use and first responders need to use it, by all means you can share it, but it is reserved to look after the welfare of people.
Question asked was whether there would be the key available at the fire station for the chief. For them, I don't think they have one at present.
But it's still a shame of something.
Just another quick one. One of the issues we had last time was we didn't have a road sign that said road closed. Is there any signs within this kit?
No, but there's road codes. I don't think that BNT, I've since discovered the contact names of BNT staff who live in Whangamatā. I have their contact details, and if we need it, we can contact them.
Last time they were more here.
Yes, no, we've got more road codes now. We road codes before we don't. We will not the roading project. We have permission. I have access to the people's number. Hopefully they're here.
Gary, have you got any updates?
That's right. Very successful project, and we've secured almost $900,000. This is probably say probably a leader in the country. And I think we're very close to getting a national award. The members, I think, have mentioned the final. We're going to the finals. But that's us.
Thank you all for attending.
Thank you. Yeah. Last question. I know Brett's, he's coming up, they're coming up now. I was actually asking to see when you were coming on. But that's right.
Welcome.
So, good morning, everybody. My name is Luke Archbold. I'm the new program manager for the capital delivery team. I've got some help with me today.
Good Chair, good morning, everyone. I see you all. I would like to introduce Frank Smith, the consultant engineer in stormwater, who was covering for one of our staffers on maternity.
Local lady.
Yes, she is a local from Whangamatā and is involved in the majority of our stormwater projects around the peninsula. So it's not just here, she's doing a lot of other work.
So I'm here today and I'm 8 weeks into role. Previously, Lorenzo would have come to these meetings, or Glenn, who supported that space. So I am in a permanent position, filling the role of program manager, so you'll see me regularly providing updates to the community. So today I'm presenting a report which has a format which is a little bit different to normal. It is the start of a new LTP, the start of a new financial year. And so this report is really highlighting what's come through and what will be delivered rather than a regular update report. What you'll notice in this report is that the layout's a little bit different. We've now broken it down by which team is delivering, which is the dark blue banner groups. And so at the top there, project delivery is the team that I lead, and they are delivering about half of the capital works for council this year. Other teams are doing some work as well, student parks and open spaces, recreation facilities and roading for fun. Brett has come along today to assist with a bit of an overview for the first item under project delivery. So I'm going to pass to Brett now to talk to that.
The key items that are happening on the stormwater project are the flood model. We are taking a report to council to get the flood model accepted and then being able to be used by council staff. That will be going through in the October council meeting. The communication plan that we have developed for residents, for the letters, the availability of drop-in centres. We have that program prepared. That is with the leadership team at the moment. So I should be able to get approval for that and distribute that to the community board. Stormwater projects, the prioritisation of the projects that we're looking at doing for the first 2 years has been drafted, and we are, Kate and I have a meeting tomorrow to formalise that with the infrastructure general manager. And that list should be ready for distribution. And I'll hand over to Kate to just talk about Williamson Pond. We were there this morning, and I must admit it's looking very good.
So the scaffolding has come down, so you can now, fencing has come down, so we can now access the pond. We can have a walk around. There is the first round of testing of the water quality was undertaken a couple of weeks ago. The test results negative analysis. We didn't actually get really good samples, and hopefully that's standard. So we're looking at it, trying to have a window of 5 sunny days, but we're rain storm after that, which can be quite tricky. And just to try and get 1 sample per month. And so hopefully this weekend we'll get our second round of testing completed. We have gone and inspected the pond. We noticed that the sludge banks sand, we have a bit of erosion issue. And we're going to look at getting some weed management. I'm aware that there's been some bit of concern about the black sediment at the base of the pond. So we talked to the regional council about this. They said don't test the sediment, we need to test the water quality. This has come to our attention for Monday, so we're going to put that into our round of testing. That will put us in the same set of testing, which would seem to be any point at the moment is just a small shallow pond. So we'll wait for the strong wind to come through. However, one inspection doesn't seem to have any natural benefit to terrifying. The texture seems fine. It actually looks like there's some texture coming through. Probably looking at road runoff. We are looking at a stormwater pond, so it's typical contaminants, also a little bit of oil and grease. The rocks where the other comes in. So yeah, the way it's looking pretty good. The grass is looking well. Maybe we'll have a look.
Through the chair, we'll take the rest of the report as read and are available for any questions. Any questions?
Yeah, well, first of all, on the stormwater, thank you for the update. Really good. Just quickly on the sediment, do you think it's already in the soil or is it coming from the road? Have they got an idea of that, where it's coming from? Was it there in the sea?
It's not perfectly across.
It looks like it's
It's not like it's washing in, and it's not showing signs of being washed through. So it potentially could just be sediment coming through, could be minor. Yeah.
that's all I think.
Regional council have inspected and they didn't hold significant concerns. They said just continue with the testing.
I think it was raised, the engineer Craig Richley said that he thought what was happening, those filters we had don't stop the nutrients, and he thinks it's likely the nutrients that have come through where the course is coming from the golf club, whether that's probably what likely it is, and
But it's not nutrients, is it? It's actually.
It could be a reaction with an alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean, there is potential. The filter system that's in place is a steady.
nutrients. It's like nutrients.
Through the chair, I'd agree with you, Gary. It could be organics coming down, but what they're saying is don't test the sediment because if there is something there, it could well have died off, gone into the thing or whatever the bottom. test the water coming in to check what is it. Get it while it's coming in. You've got a better handle there. Trying to check in the sand is.
That water that's lying there at the moment, is that worth testing?
I think if we potentially, what will happen now is it would be extremely concentrated. Because then we had rain for several days. So what we'll be seeing is potentially concentrated will not actually what is getting flushed through. So we're probably the best thing to do is stick with a sampling regime, which is waiting for the time period. You know, like if you test a pond, I mean, it's a puddle, you're not going to be seeing a concentrated situation. So I think the best outcome is if we continue with what we're doing with our regular testing on these storm events to see what the stormwater is flushing through.
I'm also seeing you projecting the storm event for Saturday. That's fine. But just to clarify, where are you doing the sampling from? Is it the inlet to the pond or the outlet from the pond?
So the way it goes, so it is where the pipes come in and discharge a little bit. It's the first sample spot from both pipe sides. And the initial claim is from the outlet, the ponds to the beach.
Yeah.
The issue is the way the pond line close up, and we were having trouble with the old air having to come back, come to check if there's enough water on the outlet line. Also, what happens is as the pond flows, we get there's a concentration of contaminants. By the time it comes out the outlet, so we're turning to the inside of the outlet to the so within the otherwise we just that's why I'm having that actually they're going to test like on Saturday having to find the finding and so they missed it in the outlet.
Yeah, because it's pretty, yeah, that's one of the charge point.
Yeah.
You don't know inside.
Was it necessary for the baskets to be cleaned out? There was discussion about that at some stage.
The canyon baskets. We felt the original design had something like 20 metres of canyon baskets into the weir. They were heavily sedimented before, and so we allowed water through to the weir, and therefore that was why we changed the whole design.
Okay.
Canyon baskets were a structure to support. They weren't actually filtering the way they were originally designed. Didn't work.
Yeah, can we move on? Happy? That's the next one. So wastewater, can I talk about that? So that's a rising main, you're obviously moving from Isabel to Lindsay Road. Like it's over 6 years, quite a long project. How is it going to impede? Is it going to go through and change the pipeline through properties and all that? Is quite a major work going on there.
Through the chair, the original concept we had was to replace the pipe from Isabel down on Huntington Road, then going through the park area and then joining into Lindsay Road. So I haven't looked at the work that needs to be done around Isabel to get out onto the main road, but we were more concerned about where we joined into, how we got through the park area.
So that's still underway work.
The design work will be done this year, and with the aim that the construction work will start.
Okay.
Digging up town, so that's pretty cool.
If it goes through the park area, you're talking about the shop area that is there, will that pick up those flooding problems for the houses from Martin Road, on Lindsay Road from Martin Road through? Because they're the ones that are getting flooded.
No, this is the waste.
This is the waste. This is the wastewater. Yes. The program, the list of projects are addressing generally the areas going out into the estuary or the beach, whatever else. We're trying to work from the discharge point and work back up. So I think there's 5 or 6 projects that we've got for the first 2 years.
Next one. So this is the Court Road Public Convenience, a TIF funded program. It's quite a major upgrade there, but we passed some information on through the area manager outlining the local people with wheelchairs who have difficulty accessing any toilet in town.
Yeah.
And so they incorporate some of their needs into this design, so they at least they've got something they can actually put on. So that's we pass it on to them. So hopefully that comes through in that discussion. Have you got a plan to commence construction after the peak period? So we're talking about March next year or April next year?
Yeah, through the chair, we're just trying to avoid the impact on the busy season and the people visitors and the community.
Okay. So back on toilets, we get some information through. I asked some comments about and washing facilities and stuff around the toilet. We give any feedback on that, or we need to see some new drawings, or what's the point of making feedback if we can't get a response? So we're going to get some response there or acknowledgement.
Yes, yes, through the chair, absolutely, I can bring back some feedback. And I'll make sure we can do that for
That'd be great.
next meeting.
Just note that I all of that wait another year, but I know the timing, but it's still another year. Talking about it for about a year. It's time.
Yeah, but we do have some timelines.
Oh, yeah, no, take it this time.
But I think 3 months are about to be locked down. Please.
Yeah, great.
Any further questions for the team?
Next one's the dump station.
Yeah.
The dump station.
Yeah.
Curse of our life. It's been going on for several years now. Promises. The dump station, current one is it's got a second-hand pump chuck on it, just trying to get it going. Probably it will fail one day. We selected a new site, went around a while, and the telephone tower has arrived here as well. But there's room apparently still to do it there. Can you give us an understanding of an undertaking this is going to be done by the end of the year?
Yes, yeah, through the chair, this one has the funding agreement already signed off with MB. We have just got approval for a procurement to go direct to the contractor that's literally their basis next door to the new site, which will enable us to get that on up and running and underway quickly. So we should and will see that well before this busy season.
Is there an indication of when the first shovel will be turned to work?
We're just finalising the contract at the moment. They've already been, I guess, given a heads up that this is an urgent one for us, and they're already planning. So I would hope within the month that we will have some work on this thing.
So just to suck heads here, but the New Zealand Caravan Association said they would provide the unit as part of the deal to make sure it's the right gear for the right spot. So they're still just keep unit that they probably know that that was one of the key discussions we had about getting it right. They said they would confront that with it, but
Yeah.
hopefully they're still in a while.
I will chase that down and double verify that.
Good. Good. Not that. Moving on to that.
Yep.
Critical structures, we don't quite know what it means, but we'll try in there. So footbridges and platforms. Where?
So through the chair, I had a planning meeting yesterday with the parks team to get a bit of a light on what these sorts of renewals were. In the most case, the theme was a lot of stairs, and it seems like there were some impacts through the bigger storm events in recent past. So we're just pulling together by the end of this week a plan and a prioritised plan for delivering of the critical infrastructure renewals.
Does that include beach access? Is that part of this?
It's engineered structures. Yeah, so need an engineer to provide plans, and they need to be built to these standards.
made that decision. It's just that we get asked, oh, what's happening over there, and most times we go, and so it's good to have that information.
Through the chair, this reports to say these are the projects, each report can be updated with the projects are usually
We're talking on June today or not? Not on this.
my understanding is that workshop after the
No,
meeting.
and Shibong on after the workshop, talk about his projects. The parks and.
Derek.
Derek will be huge.
There is. Okay. So yes, I've got nothing there. Cemetery is on the focus.
Well, I think it's the same, but because I want things being looked at. It's pretty as well.
Through the chair, I had a similar question yesterday to Tyra. Went away and had a chat with Paula, and my understanding is she did send some details through to governments. For Tyra, I'll check and see if that's came through last night, so that's gone in. Which will have breakdown somewhat.
Next one I'd like to raise is the harbour renewal. One of the concerns that the boating people have got is that when they pay their money for their annual boat launching fee, parking fee, that money was designed to go back into their assets. And we seem to take that money and put it into the wharf. The wharf is kids jumping off and kids swimming on, really. So we're just really trying to divert the money into the right area, which was responsible areas. So maybe something we can have a look at and see where that money goes. Because they're asking for some pontoons and some upgrades, and it just seems to roll into the wharf and into the launching of boat areas and their facility. Yeah. Moving on. So the other one, next one is the hall renewals. So the hall renewal is a request that we've made through the board. It's in the LTP, was put some air conditioning into the theatre side of the local hall here. They said there's money in the budget, it's 7K a year or something over the next. But I'd like to see that get some traction if we can, please. And whoever looks after us all, give us an idea of what they want there. Really doesn't need it. He's quite, the mayor's going tomorrow night for a function there, and it gets quite full.
Through the chair, I'll have a chat with Larissa and see if we can give you an update next meeting.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
And I got nothing else except for the car reseals, something that's in discussion. So the car reseals, I think this is Ed's world. But there's several of these, and especially around Williamson Park, there's a whole lot of potholes get formed, cars using there, and we're going to try and get this metal compacted in that area. So some understanding that can happen and where it's going to be and whatever's happening. Just good knowledge to know.
So through the chair, it was quick to point out that that's a park's responsibility, not a roading. So
it's more into.
Yeah, so we'll make sure it's in the right category next time. And I'll engage with Derek around that. Okay. And get some clarity.
Thank you.
That's some news. So I have a mover and a second. I'll let Mark and. Here. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. The action schedule in the estimate of the okay, so
Who's going to speak to this? I want to know what's happening with the release of Mayfair Reserve, that we're going to go out and look for more land around town to try and get this project that we've been pushing for the last 6 or 8 years to get construction accommodation. Seems to just keep you around and around.
Well, I'll follow that up with my property and parks.
So they were going to have a meeting. 6 weeks ago, we sat down and said, you can't use Mayfair Reserve because it's not the right qualification or how it's set up. And they said, we'll go in and find some more land for you to make a decision around the area. Today's the day.
Well, I don't have any answers for you, but I will follow up with both those things and come back to you guys with an answer.
Thank you all. The next one was the zebra crossing, and it's shown as closed here. Should that be correct or not? And I'm on the location of Freedom Camping Park. All in favour of the action to the rest. That's the we move on now to the report for exclusion.
There, right?
You're swimming in the sea. You're swimming in the sea.
Before we do, can I just do my
That's not going to make mistake.
And do my report. That's right. I'm sorry. Just to say that I know there's been a terrible lot that's done on things and stormwater, and it appears that what has been done so far appears to be working. And I think we should give them the opportunity to do that so that we can at least get some sort of finalisation for it. Items we reserve, we're going to discuss.